Alrighty, I think I am on air. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm going to bring up the radar right here. I have a few more things to get done with, and we'll go ahead and get started. We do have a tornado warning in Greenlee and Valley County here in Nebraska. It doesn't look like a whole lot according to radar right now. I think they're looking at this area back in here. Just don't see a whole lot. I'm kind of far away, though. Let me see if I get a different radar angle on it. Yeah, it's about the same, more or less. Nothing too much. But I'm going to get ready a few more things here. Ouch. Got my own stream up. So I'm going to go ahead and put a few more things away, and we'll get started here shortly. Okay, I am back now. I'm looking down through the radar. Like I said, we do have that tornado warning in Greenlee Valley County. It doesn't look like a whole lot on radar right now, and we've got the warning of capable of producing a tornado. That's pretty much the least serious of the tornado warnings. Not to say it's not serious, just to say it's probably the least serious. I am assuming, from what I'm looking at, they're talking in this area up here. Because I don't think it's, it could be this guy here. Yeah, maybe they're talking something in here. I'm not sure. Really, that one's kind of got me stumped a little bit. But we're looking down through the storms in Omaha right now, and those are the big ones. Just received a report. This is going to be just north and west of Omaha. 2 and 3/4 inch hail. You're talking baseballs right down near Fort Calhoun, just north of Omaha. And that storm is going to be heading through or just north of Omaha Metro here in the next maybe 15-20 minutes as that thing's getting wrapped up. You can see some of that big hail core up here just south of Missouri Valley, moving in the southeast direction. A lot more storms popping up now. We have another nice looking cell here in Iowa. This is 3 different thunderstorm warnings. I'm going to guess there's a couple different locations responsible for this area. That's why you're seeing 3 instead of the 1. You can always check that if you look up National Weather Service in Des Moines, and this one down here is National Weather Service Kansas City. So yeah, there's a couple different ones in charge of probably this state line right here is where they swap out at. So that's why you see multiple warnings, but it's all one warning really. It's kind of in a bad spot to get a real good radar location on to see what the storm's actually doing, but you can see 2-inch hail just reported. This is only 10 minutes ago, so we got some golf ball to ping pong size hail with 2-inch diameter hail just southwest there in extreme southwest Taylor County. So you're talking right around here, and that's right where these other reports are coinciding with. And that's also what we're showing on radar. We're showing 2.5-inch hail, possibly up to 2.5-inch hail. with the possibility. I am not an advanced guy. Just so everybody knows, if nobody watched the whole live stream last time, I'm not some like super advanced guy who's got all the answers here. I just do this on my spare time, just hobby of mine. I love watching weather. I can do it on radar. I could do these live streams, pretty much every time it storms if I didn't have a life and actually have obligations and shit to do. But anyways, from what I understand, at least, of GR level 3, that's the radar app that I'm using here. I have a subscription with Allison House, so you can get it on AllisonHouse.com, and I think it's grlevelx.com for the radar. But the POH, as you see here, 100%, that's possibility of hail. So they're saying, you're certainly going to get hail here. And then the POSH means possibility of severe hail, which I'm assuming that is, hail over 1 inch. And you're looking at a 100% chance of hail over 1 inch with this storm right now. So definitely raining. You can see golf balls, ping pong size hail. That's on the south border of Iowa and northern border of Missouri, and we're going to start to see these storms, these storm reports come rolling in from Omaha here before too much longer. These ones are 17. It's a little further back. This one here started 2, so this is like 2 minutes ago. 1 3/4 inch, and I have a sheet here somewhere right here. 1 3/4 inch. You're talking golf ball size hail. So. Not only is it the hail that you'd have to worry about with this kind of a storm, you can see this, the whole system right here would be an MCS, and this right down here, heading down in Omaha, it's a really well-defined bow echo, and that's where you get some very strong straight level winds. If I can bring up the base velocity here, we can see, some of these reds, you're talking 50, 60 knots maybe, so you're talking, upwards of 70, 80 mile per hour winds. Somewhere in there. I'm not sure about my knots to miles per hour, but with those kind of wind gusts, you're talking golf balls flying in the air and 80 mile per hour winds. That can really do some damage. So something to watch out for. And we'll see if some of these storms produce tornadoes. The tornado threat really today is not as well. There's a tornado reported actually. That's the storm I said didn't look like a whole too lot, and there it is producing a tornado. It's tough for me to get a good radar on this storm. These storms are right in between a lot of the sites where you'd normally look to see them. But that was just outside of Elria, Ord, 8 miles north of Ord. In Valley County of Nebraska, a tornado reported 8 miles north of Ord via storm chaser. Don't know what kind of tornado. Again, I can't really see it on radar. It's interesting that this area in here is warned as well. If you look at those storms, it's interesting as well that these storms are actually moving. You can see, according to the white line here, these storms are moving in a northeast direction, while your whole rest of your system is moving in a southeast direction. So, when they meet up, get some of that spinning action, and that's what you saw with the tornado there. I don't think it was a big tornado. I mean, like I said, radar wasn't really picking up a whole too lot on it. But, big tornado or not, it's pretty serious. That was only 7 minutes ago that tornado was reported. And that's still currently the only tornado warning that we have right now. And that's for Nebraska, Greeley, and Valley County. Given that they have a tornado warning and a spotted tornado, the warning could move up. This warning expires here in 7 minutes. But given that it's already met with the other storms, I don't expect a new warning to be placed. But like I said, just the fact that we just saw a tornado reported, nothing would be too surprising. If you guys want to reach out to me, how many viewers we got? A handful of you guys so far. You can do so on Reddit. I think I posted on 3 different subreddits: storm chasing, weather, and storm coming. I'm not sure if storm coming. I don't quite get that subreddit. I saw somebody else post something there just a day or so ago. I'm not quite sure I fully understand it, but shoot me a message on there. You can reply back to the storm chasing post. The post on storm chasing, you can leave some comments there. If you have something to say, something to bring up. something I could be doing better, whatever it be. Appreciate feedback. It gets kind of boring talking for like 2 hours with no interaction at all. So if you guys got something to bring up, go ahead, shoot me a message. Let me know you're out there. So the storm started earlier today. It started up in northern Nebraska, and you can kind of see the pattern's been kind of shifting south and east. They've been kind of slower moving in the sense of, it's taken a full day to get halfway across the state. But not only that, and after these guys have passed here, and this is these guys are from this morning. And after these cells have passed, let's see what we've got here in this newest report. Just received a hail report, 1 inch hail, so this guy's might be starting to die out. There's 2 inch hail. That's the one we looked at before. But as these guys have moved on and finally pass on, this cell has literally been alive since I was watching radar, probably around 11 a.m. Eastern time. So you're talking, this cell has been alive for like 6-7 hours now. As those guys have gone by, these cells here in whatever north central Nebraska, they've really been popping up pretty strong and moving in an opposite direction at that. So you got these storms all moving in the northeast direction, these guys down here moving in the southeast direction. So we're going to keep an eye on a lot of these storms and see something really develops over the next few hours. And they're all in a really bad spot for me to get a good radar feed from. So let's see what they kind of recommend. There's the closest radar spot. I'm showing a TVX signature here. TVS signature means radar indicating a tornado. It doesn't always mean there's a tornado. If you look down through your base velocity and storm relative velocities, kind of hard to see much right now. This is the hook echo from the storm. I saw the radar right through here. It's not quite updated, I don't think, but I don't see a whole lot right now. We'll keep an eye on this cell though. This cell is looking really good. You can see the big HP supercell here. You got the hail core, everything up. You got the inflow coming in just south of Seneca right now. And then what would be a really nice hook echo for a tornado to the south of it. So we'll keep an eye on that cell. It's looking like probably the most promising of all the cells right now. And then we still got this one down here in our ORD, and that's one that just produced a tornado 12 minutes ago. And we'll keep an eye on that as that continues to move out of the way. Spectrum width. Never used spectrum width. It's beyond me. That's why I've never used it. I do post some things on Twitter as well. If you guys want to follow me, feel free to. Nothing I do really official. But I'm at Weather Trek, and that's Weather TREK. You can follow me on there, and if a storm is serious enough to where I think I need to let people know about it, that's the only time I post on this. I don't post for anything else. I just post very sparingly on days I'm actually following a radar, and I actually think that there's a need to let people know, and that's the only time I'll ever really post anything. So other than that, man, we got a whole slew of thunderstorm warnings. Look how many we got here. I'll just run down through the list. Got a few flash flood warnings up in New York. Looks like upstate, central New York, Albany, Orange counties. I believe that's central New York. It's not like in New York City, nothing like that. I live outside of Pittsburgh. We had some thunderstorm warnings there. We still got one in Athens, a little bit to our south here. But nothing too much happening over there. There's 3/4 inch hail reported in Pittsburgh from this little guy. See what he looks like. Yeah, just a small little storm. Nothing too much. National Weather Service the Storm Prediction Center was looking at these and a possibility of issuing a severe thunderstorm watch, but opted not to, and I kind of agree. I think that's going to be about it for the day for us. Tomorrow looking a lot more promising if you're in southern Ohio and northern Kentucky tomorrow. you know, looking at some severe weather at that time. But right now, let's bring it down that radar site. It's so far away. Tough to tell where I'm actually at. I'm at Blaine Brown, where's that one at? Right here. Bring up that radar site. This is the one to keep my eye on, is cell. Just heading over Seneca right now, looking at 2¼ inch hail at the highest. I don't see any reports of anything yet, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But hail covering the ground, man, that was just reported 10 minutes ago. Law enforcement reporting that hail upwards of 1¾ inch. So again, that's like golf ball size hail covering the ground there in Nebraska. So kind of exactly what we expected today. I think most people were expecting a really bad day for hail. Some straight line winds as well. Not a big of a tornado day. Not to say that they can't exist. Obviously, we just saw our first one reported today. I believe that's the first one reported today. Now it's outside of Ord. So we're going to jump back in here. We'll look on the storm reports. Where do I go to? Storm reports. I think that's the first tornado today. These are earlier. Okay, so we had one other tornado in Bassett. Didn't look like it was anything too bad. That was 4 hours ago. Then we just had this most recent one here in Ord. Those ones were up north. So slow tornado day, but the hail has certainly been raining down all day. Just received a new wind report, 60 mile per hour. Hail just beginning to fall. Dark layering clouds was noted to the south. So 60 mile per hour winds. We're still following this storm here that did produce a tornado in Ord. Those two cells mixing up, causing a little bit of a stir. That warning is set. Oh, they've extended that warning now to 6:30. Wow, so they've extended this warning another 45 minutes for Greenlee and Valley counties. So we're certainly going to keep an eye on that cell. National Weather Service seeing a lot of rotation there. I'm struggling to see the rotation on my radar, but I'm also I don't have a site that's really close to it. I'm kind of out all the way out here, all the way down here to get a good look on that cell. Or over here, it's right in the middle of everything. So I'm kind of struggling, but they have other tools that they can get that data from. So I'm gonna thanks Parsnippy. Let me know he's watching the storm reports there. Other than that, what we're looking for over the next couple hours and into the evening, at least in Eastern time, these cells are going to continue to strengthen or stay where they're at right now. I don't know if you can strengthen a lot more. You're already reporting, like I said, 2¾ inch hail earlier, as is now hitting the Omaha metro area. So Carter Lake, Council Bluffs, it's coming for you. Omaha, downtown. The airport looks like the airport right outside of Carter Lake, probably seeing some of that larger hail right now. We can zoom in a little bit more. You can see a lot of downtown metro. You might escape some of the larger hail. You might see some of that smaller stuff. And in Council Bluffs right now, right in the line of fire. And that's probably hitting you right now, actually, given the fact that the radar hasn't updated in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Some of the worst areas right along the river, actually. You can see that purple following that river. So that's, like I said, that was probably a couple minutes ago. It's probably a little further south and hitting some of the suburbs of Omaha right now. And I'm sure we'll see some storm reports coming in from all the spotter trainers there, the e-spotters hitting up in Omaha. Wait a minute, is this really the state line? I'm looking at I'm zooming in here. So, if I'm saying this right, is Carter Lake really part of Iowa? That is weird. If that's the case, that is very strange that you can be living here and being in Nebraska, here, Iowa. and in here back in Nebraska again, if that's the case, which I assume it is. Very interesting. So anyways, that storm moving southeast. Omaha, downtown, you may just skip it. You're going to see some severe storms, don't get me wrong, but at least in terms of the hail, it looks like they may get away with it. Council Bluffs is pretty much a direct hit downtown, the suburb there. So we'll keep an eye on that storm as it moves. I don't know how fast they're moving. Pretty slow, 20, 30 miles per hour. And that's why you're seeing that hail covering the ground. The storms are relatively slow moving, and that's why we're seeing that. Go back up to the tornado warned storm outside of Ord. It's just hard for me to get a good look on that cell. And it kind of sucks. Wish I could. I can't do that right now. The cell near Seneca, I was looking at that one earlier. Where is it at? Is that this one here? Yes. It's getting a little close to the radar site, so it's kind of hard to continue to follow that one. But you can see the straight line of winds coming out. Pretty strong winds, 50 knots right now. I don't know what that is, about 60 mile per hour, something like that. I should really have a calculator up to save me some time. Knots to mile per hour. 60 knots. I said 50 knots, about 60 miles per hour, something like that. Yeah, 57, close enough. Not bad for using top of my head there. I'm going to take a short intermission and grab myself a drink. I'll stick with the tornado warning storm for right now. Again, that tornado warning in Greenlee and Valley County, Nebraska extended another 40 minutes. It was set to expire about 5 minutes ago. They've extended another 45 minutes. The cell that did cause that tornado, where was it at? I may not have it on this site. Should be down here. The cell that was causing that tornado originally, it's gone now, but this guy up here, so he moved up from the south, was moving north, spawned a tornado, and has since merged with the latest cell that you see here. So this particular cell not causing that tornado, but you can still see really nice HP supercell, big hail, still a possibility, 2-inch hail. And it's still got a nice hook, so wouldn't be too surprising. You get some inflow up in here and inflow in here to see that thing spin up. Wouldn't be out of the question here over the next half an hour or so. We'll keep an eye on it though, and I will be right back to continue the coverage of the storms. Okay, we're back and following the storms again here in Nebraska. That storm's still tornado warned in Greenlee Valley County there. I do want to, I should probably continue to give credit to the company that I'm using for the radar and um, radar feeds. I had somebody ask me the question on Reddit as well, so I want to hurry up and answer that. GR Level 3 is the application I use. You can get that on grlevelx.com. I believe that's the website. I probably should have checked that before I just said it. Yeah, GR Level X. I think it's like $80, something like that. It's not too bad, especially for how high def it is and responsive it is. It's certainly worth the money. $80. And then to use it, you can use National Weather Service feeds for radar. Not, they're just not the most dependable. From what I find, I go to a subscription-based service. It's called Allison House. That's just AllisonHouse.com. I think it's what I pay for is $10 a month, and that's the level 3 radar. If you buy GR level 3, you want to have level 3 radar data. Level 2 radar data is not going to do you any good. If you want to have level 2 radar data, which is very nice, I mean very nice, you're going to have to buy the GR level 2, and it's a little bit more expensive if you buy the analyst version at least. When I say a little bit more expensive, I mean a lot more expensive. $250, and I think GR level 2. I'm not sure what the cost of this is. Free for 21 days. It doesn't really say else. No longer available for purchase. So yeah, so if you want to buy the GR level 2, $250, but it gives you, you can take apart the storms, and you can actually see three-dimensional renderings of the storms themselves. And you can see a tornado right here, what the tornado looks like actually inside of the cell. Really cool. I just don't have the money for it, so I'm stuck with GR level 3 feed right now. Not a whole lot happening in terms of additional tornadoes from this cell. We do have still is tornado warned. I'm starting to see, you can start to see a little bit more in the base velocity scan, start to see a little bit more in terms of some possible rotation. Nothing too much in the storm relative velocity scan. So the base velocity scan gives you a really nice view of rotation inside of a cell. But if you really want, like, I guess I don't want to call it street level, because you can't get street level. I mean, obviously it's a radar, so it's all tilted at a certain angle. Further you are from that radar site, the less reliable your data is going to be. When we're looking out here, at least it's flat, so that's kind of works to our advantage. But those scans are taken a little bit higher up. The relative velocity scan is going to be a little better to tell you rotation actually inside the cell on the lower level. The base velocity kind of gives you a more overview of the cell, if you will say something like that. And of course, your reflectivity scan, that's what you see all the time. I'm going to have to pause for one more second. Say hello, my girlfriend just walked in, and I'll be right back with the cells. All right, guys, I am back. I just see a new tornado warning popped up, and I'm not even going to try to say this. I guess I am. Potawatomi, Iowa, just issuing a new tornado warning from the cell that passed through Omaha, Nebraska not too long ago. I had a break there because my awesome girlfriend has bought me some Papa John's, the best. Try to skip food to view some of these storms. The other tornado warned cell, Greenlee Valley County, all three tornado warnings go until 6:30. Nothing else coming out of that cell just yet. It actually seems to be kind of, it's still holding everything in terms of being a nice storm. I mean, hail on the size of 2 inches, so it's a pretty big storm. But it seems to be becoming less organized in the front of having a tornado with it. So we're going to kind of skip on that cell for now. We're going to head over to a cell in Potawatomi, Iowa, heading near Oakland, Carlson, Macedonia. Not only that, but this cell's got some nice hail core attached with it as well. So we'll probably see some hail reports coming up with that. Trying to see which direction that storm's going. It's still moving southeast, but it's kind of taken a more recent hook, and maybe that's why the tornado warning was issued. It's kind of taking a turn to head just straight due east over the last 10 minutes or so there. So I would say Oakland right now going to be right in the front, taking the brunt of that storm here in the next 10, 15 minutes, somewhere like that. In terms of storm reports, not a whole lot new. We still have our hail reports in southern Iowa. That was still from a little bit earlier, almost 40 minutes ago now, over half an hour ago there. And as I'm moving around, I don't see a whole lot of new stuff. It's a lot of the same old. But the tornado warning in Potawatomi County, that's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing. Again, that's, I don't want to say, there's nothing that's not serious. Every tornado warning is serious, but given the fact that you're all weather people, I would assume that you guys know that. Capable of producing, I don't want to say take it serious, but it's not quite as severe as it has produced. Capable of producing, usually getting those bow echoes when you start to get real intense winds. And you can see that's still a really well-defined bow on that, probably pushing winds out in excess of 80 miles per hour there. So still a really bad storm. And I just got the latest radar feed. You can kind of see what's really interesting. Just south of Oakland, you can see where the storm's intake is. And then coming back out to the south of it would be where you would see a tornado, likely somewhere in this area. But you also have another inflow up here, which could cause this, to get some kind of a rotation out as well. Either way, a lot of interesting things happening with this cell right now. And if we look at the base velocity, you can kind of see a little bit of red mixed in here. The base velocity shows a little bit more clear how red that is right up against this green. That's real sharp red, indicating that there is a possible tornado with this cell right now. That tornado would be somewhere rain-wrapped, right with this TBS I have listed here, which I'm not sure where it is, between McClellan and Oakland. Those two cities. So a possible rain-wrapped tornado, very dangerous situation. This may be something that I would post on my Twitter, just so you guys know. Like I said, I don't use it a whole lot. But something like this, where you got a possible rain-wrapped tornado heading directly for a city like that, it's something that we're gonna post on. Weather Channel reporting a confirmed tornado near Greenlee, Nebraska, and I'm going to switch right back up to that here in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and post that. I do like to post a time with my as well to avoid any confusion. Anyways, Weather Channel reporting they're seeing rotation right now on Greenlee, so let's move up there. Oh yeah, okay. So you can really see it on radar right now. That's going to be somewhere up in here is where they're looking at, and that's where you can see this nice strong inflow here, the hook that comes back around. And there's the report right there. So tornado reported by law enforcement between Greenlee and Escata. Estimated location 5 miles west of Greenlee. That's not the case. It's actually going to be a little bit further north, I would have to think. I don't see anything down here that would indicate there'd be a tornado, but so you do have some rotation up in there right here with this cell. That heading, I'm not sure where that storm is actually heading toward. That's the one that's going kind of pushing mostly east, and they are, is it a tornado emergency? I think they are reporting a tornado emergency now on that cell. Tornadic thunderstorms moved out, they're canceled. Weather spotters have confirmed the tornado. Confirmed tornado near Greenlee, damaging wind, 3-inch hail, likely straight line winds up in the 70 mile per hour. That storm heading pretty much due east right now. A little bit of southerly action to it. We look on radar. The good news is that I don't see a lot of homes in this area. It seems like a lot of farmland. This is likely where we're seeing this tornado at right now. So no homes in the immediate area. I see a lot of farmland, and we're not like downtown of a major city, nothing like that. So ideally, it dissipates and goes away. But if it doesn't, at least this is not like a worst case scenario in terms of population right now. But man, that's starting to look a little bit better every time you look at it. You can see how just the strong winds involved with you got those bright greens and bright reds all close together. That's usually pretty indicative of having a tornado right in this area. So we're certainly going to be following this cell as it continues to push east. We go to that Potawatomi cell here. Things look interesting as well. I'm not saying you can see where it would want to form. You can see a lot of updraft here, or a lot of contradicting winds, I guess you'd say. Some of it's tough to see, but you'd expect to see green above this and white down, or green down below it. So the fact you got some right here means that the wind is actually pushing away from the radar site here, pushing down into the radar site here, looking for some rotation to form around that area. It certainly could happen as that cell moves forward. But right now, confirmed tornado on the ground. New tornado, brief tornado just reported 8 miles west of Spalding by train spotter. I'm assuming this is all that same cell just north of Greenlee Center. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and make a post there. I'm going to check on Reddit, see if you guys have left me any messages. Nothing there. Good deal. I'm going to use this time to take a quick break, eat a slice of pizza. Continue watching this cell form over Greenlee Center, Nebraska. Tornado emergency being placed for that area until 6:30. So 20 minutes left on that warning. Confirmed tornado on the ground. Just getting all kind of reports now. Less than 10 minutes ago, and this one here, just 5 minutes ago, reporting a brief one in this area. But it's the cell just north of Greenlee Center that we're really looking at to develop here, or continue to develop the ongoing tornado. Okay, we're back. Still following that storm in Greenlee and Valley counties in Nebraska. No new reports just yet, but I still have that one from just 10 minutes ago reporting there was a tornado on the ground, a brief one at that, but still a tornado on the ground. Tornado emergency is still in effect for another 15 minutes. And a new tornado emergency just getting placed for down near Belgrade. What's going on? I don't see anything down there. Confirmed tornado was located 7 miles south of Spalding. That's this one here. So it's interesting to see that they're going to put a tornado emergency here, but they're not even put a tornado warning up near Cedar Rapids unless they plan on doing that here very shortly. You pretty much have to cover Cedar Rapids in that, I would think. It's really interesting to see what they've done so far. But this cell will continue to push south and east through pretty much a lot of open farmland, and then maybe eventually Cedar Rapids and Belgrade would be the last city, well, the first city in the tornado emergency that would get to. So keep an eye on it. Look at my velocity scans. Nothing really too much showed up just yet. We still got this other tornado warning in Pottawatomie County. Look at that inflow. Man, a really strong inflow here on that cell. Really strong BOIC. Up at the straight line winds there are off the charts. Yeah, wow. You're looking at over 60, 70 knots, probably over 100 miles per hour. So even though there's no tornado warning here, those straight line winds alone are stronger than like an EFO or EF1 tornado. Say 80 mile per hour wind gust in baseball size hail. I think 80 mile per hour is even a little bit friendly to say, according to what I'm seeing here on the radar data. That's just a strange looking. Look at that. Looks almost like an S. Just that inflow on that storm there, and then getting pushed out over Henderson right now. I guarantee you that cell right there is doing some real heavy damage to the areas. I'm surprised we don't see any storm reports, wind gusts coming in from Macedonia or Carson or Henderson from that cell. I still just do not understand this tornado emergency they placed in Nance County. I believe that's what it's Nance County here. Just like the strangest possible place to place a tornado warning, given that it's, this tornado here probably still has another 15, 20 minutes before it gets here. The start of the warning, it's set to expire like 10 minutes after that. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. If somebody sees something, throw me a message on Reddit, because I sound like a buffoon right now. I don't understand this tornado warning being issued here at all. See, they're still talking about the tornado warning issued there. I don't see it. I don't get it. I think if anywhere you need to have a tornado warning up here, maybe half that distance. But I don't get paid to make those kind of decisions. So they've done a terrific job all day. I just don't think right now people, down here in Fullerton or Silver Creek need to be downstairs in the basement for the next hour and a half while they wait for this tornado to approach them. That's all I'm saying. So we zoom back out. We're going to head back over to the one in Iowa here. This one producing some really strong winds down near Henderson right now, and Stinnett, Iowa. I think that's where Iowa. Yeah, Stinnett, Iowa. Emerson, Red Oak. Red Oak being, that's a pretty large city. that storm will be heading your way, and it's quite a doozy with those winds there. And like I said, that's almost pushing 100-mile-per-hour winds, I'd say. 80, 90-mile-per-hour winds at least coming from this cell as it's pushing forward. Again, if you guys, for anybody who's new and looking at the radar and trying to understand a lot of this stuff, if you go to your base velocity scans, of course, that sample is not quite as good as the other ones we've had, but if you look on your velocity scans, you can see these lighter colors in here, and that's indicating your wind speeds. If you can kind of get it close to where it's out of the map and kind of compare the two, you're maxing out right here. These these wind gusts coming in are over your 70 knots, so you're talking 85-mile-per-hour winds at least with the front of the storm. That's right where you expect it, right on the edge of that bow coming from the MCS here. That's where you'd expect to see those ones, and that's where you are for sure seeing them. Hail upwards of 3.5 inches. Now, if we go back to, I think I have a sheet here somewhere. I might have done away with it. Oh, there we go, 3.5 inches. You're talking close to grapefruits, teacup grapefruit size hail. Man. So some real damaging hail, and you factor in that with 80-mile-per-hour winds, and that's a recipe for disaster in that area. Keep clicking back to see this is the tornado warning cell. Tornado being right down in here. Maybe they nailed it with this warning. Just figured it's a little bit risky because, although I'm sure this area and all these areas in here, I'm sure they're hearing the sirens as well, even though they're not technically in a warning. The warning from these other counties, I'm sure, are reaching over to it. This actually may be the county line somewhere in here. Actually, the green lines are the county lines, so I can't really see where his county lines are, but I'm sure they're getting those sirens as well, even though there's no warning right now per se for them. In terms of what I see on radar, I'm not seeing a tornado right now, but it has all the indications that it's certainly could be a tornado. You got your inflow, although not as strong as you typically like to see on a cell of such. That would be right up in here. You got your hail core up in there, up near Spalding, seeing upwards of 2-inch hail, and then down south, now east of Greenlee, a little bit south, is where a tornado would form if there were one coming out. So, trying to do a quick run through some of my Twitter stuff here. I try to use my phone for Twitter as much as I can, and I try to use computer for the rest of the stuff. So it's get a little bit sidetracked on the occasion, but I'm trying to get through with it. So this storm getting a little bit of speed, moving 30 mile per hour, so I guess not really staying about that 20, 30, 40 mile per hour range right now. Storm moving east, southeast. Tornado area would be right in here. You can see that, that could even be debris getting swept up inside of a possible tornado right now. But I don't see anything on radar indicating that it is a tornado. But it's real indicative of what you'd see, and you can see from last time. So here, like I was saying, that inflow wasn't looking as good. You can see a little bit of an inflow here. Your high precipitation up there, possible tornado area would be down in here. Now, if we go to the newest radar, you can see what I'm talking about. This is what you look for when you start to see some real strong cells, possible tornadoes. You get your real strong inflow heading up into the cell here. Primrose, that's where you're seeing a lot of the big hail right now. They're only showing 1-inch hail. It's probably a little bit bigger than that. I'd say closer to 2. But then south of the hail, south of all the rain, this is where you'd see a possible tornado on the ground. And tornado warning, new tornado warning issued in Iowa. So I'm going to check that one out here in a second. But this one looks really promising. If it's not spawning just yet, it's something that could spawn very shortly. So we're going to keep a really close eye on that. But there is a new tornado warning in Montgomery County, and that's that same cell as it's pushing to the south and east. Red Oak, like I said, they're still in the line of fire here. Starting to get a little sprinkle in the air right now. If you're standing here and you're looking north and to your west, you can probably feel that wind just pushing against your back, trying to push you into that storm. Real strong winds with this cell. Big hail, 3.5-inch hail, possibly with this. And we do have a TVS, which indicates there is a tornado, but I'm not seeing anything right now. Just a straight line winds coming out of it. This is where you're looking at for that TVS signature. You can see some of that storm getting wrapped up in there, but it's so tough when you have 100-mile-per-hour winds. It's tough for radar to really indicate those tornadoes, as well as just having somebody there, on site taking a look at it. But if there are tornadoes with this cell, they're rain wrapped, and that's pretty much the worst case scenario. Real dangerous there. I get another update with this storm in another minute and a half, and hopefully we can really gauge it and see where we're at with it as it continues to push its way to the east southeast, about 30 miles per hour right now. A quick break here, run through my phone real quick. Okay. Grab another bite of pizza. Okay, if you guys want to reach out to me, please go ahead and shoot me a message on Reddit. You can post a comment on the post on storm chasing, or you can just shoot me a private message. Let me know what else you want to know. If you have any questions, if you have any comments. It's today being a slightly more boring day, but I've just had the itch and I just want to do it. Just a little bit more slightly less activity than what we've had in the past. Looking at the base velocity scan of that last update, you still see where that tornado would be, wrapped up somewhere in here, just to the south and west of Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids probably going to be getting the brunt of that hail anytime soon, if not right now. Cedar Rapids. I thought Cedar Rapids was a bigger city. I don't see a whole lot of radar, or on the, I shouldn't say radar, but on the Google Earth. But that storm going to continue pushing its way south and east into the warned area that they have in Nance. Greenlee, you guys are set to expire here in a minute. I do expect these two to go away, and they are. As well as the one here in Iowa. Let's see, it's gone now as well. So we're down to two tornado warnings, one being the tornado emergency here in Nance, and then we still got the one in Montgomery, Pottawatomie County in Iowa. Confirmed tornado on the ground, damaging hail, yada yada. We'll keep an eye on that as this one enters the warned area. For right now, I'm going to take a short breather, and I'll be back here in less than 2 or 3 minutes with the latest on the weather. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that little break there. It took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take, but we should be good to go now for a little bit longer. We did have a new tornado reported here in Greenlee County near Wallback. Tornado warning, or tornado reported crossing Highway 281 between mile marker 102 and 103. If we go back in terms of radar, that's going to be this little guy right here. Base velocity not showing. I guess you could see it right up in here. So it might have been even somewhere between this radar. It couldn't have been much. If it was a tornado, which I'm sure it was reported by law enforcement. Couldn't have been a whole lot. Maybe an EFO, EF1, likely an EF0. This tornado warning here is just entirely confusing right now. This cell is really interesting what this cell's done. I guess that's the furthest away I could possibly be from it as well. I guess it's still holding up fairly well, but it's a really interesting looking cell here, just the way it's almost two different cells entirely. This one's outflow is getting in the way of this one's inflow. It's creating a really interesting pattern on radar. And it still has the bow. That just went over Red Oak and now heading toward Stanton, Iowa. Tornado threats still there with this one. I don't know where that tornado would be. Maybe somewhere, possibly near Stanton if it were to form. These MCS cells, when you get that like the longer line of storms, or kind of like this here. And you get those bows, those can always produce a tornado. There's really no rhyme or reason behind a lot of it. It just does what it do. So you always want to keep an eye on that cell. And they just issued a new thunderstorm warning for this cell. So I'm going to assume they're going to let this tornado warning fade away sooner than later here. Look at this little jolt out here by Morton Mills, and doesn't show anything on radar that there's any rotation with it, but looks interesting how it's kind of leading out the cell. The inflow coming up, it's coming all the way around and up from that cell, kind of holding this part back, you would have to think. And this is pushing itself down. You could spawn some little tornadoes along the front here, but it's just not really indicative of those big EF3, EF4 tornadoes that they're fun to see on radar, not that I want to see them in real life, and do any damage or nothing, but they're always good to look at on radar. This cell here, what do we got? This is going into 6:45, so only another 7 or 8 minutes on that. It's back into a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, so even though it's still a tornado emergency, the emergency factor of it is pretty much gone. But that storm will continue pushing its way south and east around 30 miles per hour, heading near Fullerton. I would say Fullerton area south of that, right around this area here. You need to be watching news right now, knowing what's going on, because this thing has a history of producing, and typically when they have the history of producing, they can't continue to produce as long as the storm's not going to die out. And these storms aren't going to die out. They've just held their strength the entire time. And when a storm is dropping 2 3/4 inch hail, almost 3-inch hail, there's really no indication this thing is going to die out anytime soon. So certainly track that storm as it pushes its way to the south and east. Checking a couple updates on Twitter right now. Okay, everything looks pretty good on that front. See if we can get a national kind of a look here. See what Twitter is saying on here. Tornado warning, yeah, we got all that. The underground radar, they're pretty good in terms of their radar is a beautiful app. It really is. It's a really nice app to look at storms. So this should give us a fair indication of, kind of like an overview of all the storms out there. You can see it's just a massive line of storms. They use level 2 radar, I believe. So the more expensive one I can't get. No, it might be level 3. Either way, it's let's see if I can look here. Here's level 2. Yeah, so they do have level 2 radar on the underground. But it's just kind of laggy when you're moving around. It's kind of hard to see exactly what you want to see, and that's the problem with a lot of those other ones. And that's why I just use the Allison House and GR level 3. Seems like just a much more responsive app. Here's the storm that's currently warned over Iowa right now, heading toward Red Oak. You can see there. I'm going to try to zoom out one more. Right up in here. And here's your other one back in here, I believe, is your other one that's tornado warned in Nebraska. Could be this guy here even. I'm not really sure where I'm even at on radar. North of Green Island. Green Island is right here. Yeah, so that's the same cell that we're looking at. These warnings are going to be expiring pretty soon. This one here is set to expire 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't think they'll expand it any longer. I think they'll just maybe put a severe thunderstorm warning on that one. We look at this one here in Iowa. It pretty much doesn't even make sense that they're still warning on this cell. It's just so confusing up in here. Well, I guess, okay, it's still a little better looking than I thought it was on that last radar site. Generally speaking, you get a tornado with this cell right here. It's going to be a smaller one. And really, more damaging than the tornado itself are these straight line winds. These straight line winds are, 60, 80, 100 mile per hour, just the winds from this cell. And that's everywhere from Morton Mills down to Stanton. A little harder to see here, but you can see, anywhere around here, those winds alone are going to do more damage than, probably a tornado if it popped up in here would. I'm talking 100 mile per hour wind, tornado. I don't know what an EF0 is, but can't be a whole lot higher now. Probably around, 80, 90, 65 to 85. EF1, 86 to 110. So I can't guarantee, but I would say the winds along this line here are stronger than an EF1 tornado, or stronger than EF0 tornado right now. Tornado warning. You may get a tornado reported here, or tornado type damage. A lot of law enforcement would get that. But then after checking out, it's not necessarily a tornado. People, they see the warning, they get in their house, they feel 100 mile per hour wind gusts come, rips the roof off their house, or at least a lot of the shingles off their house. They think that they got hit by a tornado. In reality, it's just a straight line of wind from that storm alone causing that. Everything really just starting to just blowing up here on radar over the, the past couple hours, hour and a half or so. It's really just turned into one big line of storms doing some really interesting things. But the problem with big lines of storms is that cells, the cells that you're seeing, they kind of feed off one another. And when you get this many cells and this compact, they kind of feed off one another, and they're taking each other's energy away. Generally speaking, I like when you get those little single cells, those little supercells that pop up by themselves. Those are the ones that are really dangerous, and the ones that you get the big tornadoes from. Typically speaking, on days like this right here, where you have cells, pretty much continuous through a period of miles of 100, 200 miles. The threat's much less to get those bigger tornadoes. No, you still get those small ones. I'm not saying these ones down here in the Greenlee Center, they might have been bigger, because at that time this cell was by itself. These guys right here were, you can see this guy by himself. He had a couple more, but not like we have now. You can see over time how everything is just kind of built up and continues to build up. And you can see also as well, look how powerful this cell and this cell was. You can see hail here. You can see a hail core there. As time goes on, they start to die out. Other ones start to try to recover and take their place, but you end up just getting a big clusterfuck of storms and not really something like super powerful that you might expect. So the only tornado warning we have going on is another 15 minutes down here in Iowa. That storm is going to be out of the warned area before too much longer. So I don't know if they're just going to cancel that one. They very well could. I don't really see anywhere on radar or as much rotation anymore. I don't know if they're like looking down in here somewhere maybe for a possible tornado. That same cell just received a new tornado warning. Nance, Merrick, Polk counties in Nebraska just now, this very minute, receiving a new tornado warning. It's from that same cell that we've been looking at. The one where if a tornado is going to form, it's going to be this cell. This cell certainly looks the most well-established of all the cells from here to Iowa right now. And that's just north of, it's in Fullerton right now, just north of Central City, to the north and east of Grand Island, heading towards Silver Creek. So, people in Silver Creek, they're going to want to seek some shelter as this storm is moving through. Switch over to my base velocity again, see what we're looking at. And you can see, there's some good indication that, if something was going to happen, it would be with this guy. I don't think anything is happening at this very minute, but that's not to say something couldn't happen here within, 5 minutes from now. So certainly follow that cell closely as it's pushing on. I'm probably going to might post something to Twitter on that one. The Silver Creek thread here, or Silver Creek. Let's do that. Oh, geez, gotta try to remember what Nebraska is. I think it's NE. Just want to make sure about that. Yeah, NE. Okay. That cell looks to be like the most serious. I was looking through some of his posts here, and significant wind damage. You can look at some of these pictures, and this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. Craig, Nebraska. I don't think there was a tornado there. At least nothing that I see here listed. That could possibly just be from the straight line winds that we were looking at on that radar. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just because there's no tornado warning doesn't mean you don't take shit too seriously. That's what straight line winds will do. It will absolutely crush a car, destroy a barn or a silo or something like that. It'll rip trees up out of the ground. This is a great picture. If this is not a tornado, I don't know if it is, but that could just be from wind speeds, and that's what it will happen. There's a picture of Reed Timmer on his storm chasing going on right now. You can see the outflow boundary, blasting south toward I-80. That's a miraculous picture, pretty awesome. Through some of these other photos here, nothing too much. Oh, there's some of your hail in Nebraska from earlier. That's pretty impressive. See a mountain of hail like that. But yeah, water channel breaking. You can see just that one picture of that SUV crushed by some kind of a barn or something there. You can see stuff flowing up in the trees, everything else. Just straight line winds are just as serious as a tornado on a day like today. Jump back to my base velocity. Again, don't see a whole lot of rotation right now with the cell, but it's still formed up. It still looks really nice on radar. I'm still really far away, so it's tough to get a really good look on it. But still the best looking cell of them right now, I'd have to say. And that's going to be heading towards Silver Creek. This guy here, he expires in 10 minutes. They'll probably let the morning run out. In terms of pushing something ahead of it, I wouldn't anticipate it. Not to say it couldn't happen. I just wouldn't anticipate it. I'll probably just let go with severe thunderstorm warning on this cell. So really the only cell we're really keeping that close of an eye on is this one over Nance County right now. If you guys have questions, comments, whatever, shoot me a message on Reddit. I'll try to get back to as many of you guys as I can. I think I've got back to everybody today. Last time I don't think I was so lucky. I think we're going to follow this storm out here. I'm going to take another short breather, see how things unfold here. As of right now, according to what I'm thinking, I am anticipating the tornado warning over Iowa to cancel out. They're just going to let it run its course. It's going to expire here in 8 minutes. The one here in Nebraska is the one we're looking at in the south, just to the north of Fullerton. A history of producing tornadoes, and certainly could continue to produce. It's got a whole nice body to it. It's starting to become a little bit less organized than what I liked before, but it's not to say that if something doesn't start coming up in here, you could have a tornado spawn just to the south of Fullerton. So we'll keep a real close eye on this storm as it makes its way south and east. All right, I'm back. I know what I was telling you guys last time, right before I left. You can see, what I was saying is that if you get a nice inflow here, you can see where a tornado could spawn to the south of Fullerton. When I was gone, radar updated to this, and you can see now it's starting to become a little bit more defined with that inflow trying to happen right up in here. Possibility of tornadoes forming just to the south of Fullerton. Nice hook coming out by itself, nice inflow when it shows up here. So everything kind of coming together for that tornado to form, which would be south of Fullerton, over what appears to be a lot of farmland. If it continues pushing its way, it'll eventually make its way down to a few homes, but mostly farms. So we certainly want to keep an eye on that cell. See what they're saying here. They're still saying capable of producing baseball-sized hail. The tornado warning we have in Iowa, this one here is set to expire. Threats pretty much past that county already. They haven't issued anything new to the east of it. I don't anticipate they will. They always could. It wouldn't surprise me, but I just don't think they're going to. That that warning is set to expire here in the next 2 minutes. So other than that, right now, if we take a step out of everything, we do have a few warnings trailing back behind all these cells. Got a little guy here in North Dakota, Nebraska, the far western part of Nebraska, near Scotts Bluff and Carlson. This cell, not looking too bad on radar, actually. It's looking kind of impressive. We can switch radar sites. Yeah, looks the same here. A really impressive cell there. Heading toward a more populated area, just past Scotts Bluff, heading toward like Carlson and Gora. We have another we have another thunderstorm warned cell heading toward Rapid City, North Dakota or South Dakota. I believe that's South Dakota here. This cell, nothing too impressive on radar, but it is there nevertheless. I think that's really about it. We do have a thunderstorm warning down and a couple down in West Virginia. Weston and Elizabeth counties, or Weston and Elizabeth being the cities, Braxton, Lewis, Upshur, Gilmer counties in West Virginia, currently under a warning. If I go to my local radar site, I have absolutely nothing here. Dry. It's beautiful outside. I can see the nice sunshine right in this area right down here. Nothing too much happening there. Let's head back to that tornado warning cell in Nance and Polk. We did just get an updated radar feed. And kind of falling back apart again. We had something going here, I thought, and then it's kind of got sucked back inside. That inflow has since gone away. We're still getting that big bow echo though, but the winds are pretty outstanding there. Looking like, I guess not really too bad, 30, 40 knots right now, so 50 mile per hour to being your big gust. This cell, though, is still the most promising of the cells out there. Your tornado warning in Iowa is set to expire, and it is gone, officially out of there. No new warning handed out yet. And like I said, again, don't anticipate that to happen. Just wouldn't be surprised if it did. The tornado warning in Nance, Polk, and Merritt counties, Nebraska, that's still got another half an hour left on it. It's really been a slow day. I don't want to say disappointing. Not disappointing in terms of what we expected, I guess. Today's big threat was hail, strong winds. That's the same for tomorrow. We'll jump onto the SPC website real quick. If I look at my convective outlooks, that's what we're looking at for right now. We're looking at southern Iowa, kind of the same areas we've been following. And you see the tornado threat is always below today. So tornado threat was at 10%. We did see a few, just didn't see a whole lot. The wind damage, that was the wind and hail were two of the bigger ones that we were looking at. And I don't think the SPC I swear, like, I don't know if they have like a team of magicians that work there or what. Like, they don't get stuff wrong. Like, it is very rare the SPC is wrong. Um, weather.gov, yeah, occasionally wrong. Weather.com, yeah, occasionally they're right, but typically they're always wrong. AccuWeather, they're pretty good, but like SPC, they just don't screw up. They're always correct, they're always accurate, and they like are pretty good at pinpointing where stuff is going to happen. Granted, they're a little bit more, kind of like take a step away from your particular city, but they're never wrong. It's just like they're so impressive. Watching them. Bigger hail, you can see that being the hatched area over in Nebraska. That's where we saw a lot of our larger hail. If we mouse over the wind, you can see they were calling for the heaviest winds down here in Iowa, and that's what we've seen. We've seen the highest winds down in Iowa. And then you go to tornadoes, possible tornadoes in the northeast, like pretty much the whole northern half of Nebraska, more toward the eastern side, and that's exactly where we've seen all of our tornadoes today. So really spot on job to them. They're always right, and it's awesome, watching them. But for tomorrow, we're looking at these highlighted areas here. You're talking anywhere from Pittsburgh down to whatever you got here. I think it's like St. Louis area. I don't know what we're looking at over here. Not as quite as bad, but really from Pittsburgh to like just along the southern half of Illinois here. That is your biggest area. Half of Tennessee, pretty much all of Ohio, all of anything south of Indianapolis. Looking at some strong storms tomorrow for this particular area. You see how fast it is. Storms cut off 30, and then your 15 and your 5. So they cut off pretty quick around the Pittsburgh area. I hope to get a little something. But we'll see. But if you're down in Cincinnati tomorrow, you're right in the line of fire for these storms, and they're anticipating to be pretty good. Pretty much a repeat of what we've seen today. Tornado threat low, but really high threat for damaging hail, and another high threat for the straight line winds. And very similar to what we've seen here again today with your big MCS, and I'd probably be a little bit more organized of an MCS tomorrow. I'm not call it like a derecho or nothing like that, but maybe a little bit organized as a storm front, producing some more straight line winds and things like that. I think the tornado threat will probably be a little bit less even tomorrow than it was today. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go moderate for tomorrow. I will say that much. We see that threat jump up to moderate for like the southern Cincinnati region. Wouldn't be surprised, to see that moderate pop up right around this area, kind of along your Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky border. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. We jump right back to the radar real quick again. Same story. It's just been this one up in Nance, and it's been there for like what now? An hour and a half. It feels like just incredibly slow-moving cells, and that's what's causing some of those pictures you see with those, like hail covering the ground because they're so slow-moving, and yet the storms are so massive in themselves. It's really interesting to see. Reed Timmer is saying that it's moving towards Shelby and Silver Creek at 50 miles per hour. I don't know. I mean, maybe is this F2? U3 and SO. Maybe like 40 miles per hour. It's been slower now, I swear. Feels like this thing hasn't moved in like the last month. It's going to be heading over towards Silver Creek right now. It is still tornado warned. It still could spawn a tornado. So by the way it looks, that real nice inflow right here. Nice bow coming out of it. Straight line winds, where are we at? Up here, you're talking 50, 60 knots, so probably close to 80 mile per hour. Wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of a straight line report coming out around 80. And that's going to be heading over Silver Creek here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'd say. Other than that, it's about time for me to get out of here. It's been a little bit slower than I thought. I was hoping for a little bit more to pop up. From what I understand, not exactly most reliable source. But just from what I understand, oh, they got a lot of tornado watches out. I didn't know that. I guess I should have been paying attention a little better. Chance of tornado high. There's no PDS, I wouldn't imagine. No, nothing there. But these storms should continue to fade out as the evening goes on. I don't anticipate them to get much worse. Tornado threat should diminish as the evening goes on. And it's been about it. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And I appreciate you guys watching it. And if something comes up here in the next few days or next couple of weeks, we get another high weather day, I certainly wouldn't mind doing it again. Leave me some comments on Reddit there. Shoot me a message or whatever. Let me know what you thought of it, what I can do better. And we'll kind of go from there. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks.